skies raise me, what does love say me to someone like, to someone like?
Hi everyone, assalamualaikum and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Arina. I hope you all are doing well. So in today's video, I'll be reviewing the new Focallure 3-in-1 face and eye palette. So if you are interested to know how I achieve this look, please keep on watching. So if you don't know, I always include timestamps. You can click in my description box or in the timeline bar here. So if you don't want to see the tutorial part, you can just skip to the review part by clicking on the timestamp. So that will save you some time. Focallure currently released a face and eye palette. It includes eyeshadow and also face products. So from the palette, they have 5 different eyeshadows and also 1 highlighter and a blush. It comes in 4 different shades, which includes brown, grey, orange and pink toned, 01 chocolate waltz, 02 sea salt oreos, which I have with me, 03 creamy mango, and 04 strawberry cheese. The reason why I picked up the shade Sea Salt Oreos, which is a grey tone eyeshadow and face palette, is because it's different from their usual range, because Focallure tends to release shades that more warm tones such as pink, peach, orange, red, brown. So I picked up the grayish tone because I want to test out the formula and see whether they are on par with other Focallure eyeshadows and face products. I personally love grey tones and cool tones, and when I saw this, I'm very excited that they are finally stepping out from their comfort zone by releasing a cool tone face product and eyeshadow product. So let's review the packaging first. It comes in this cute cupcake cutout box. You can pick what's the shade inside, and the ingredient list and also description are all in Chinese. You can just use Google Translate if you are curious what are written on the box, but you can also refer their description from the official store. And this is what the packaging looks like. As usual, a standard see-through front like this. It says here cake and sweet makeup palette with a cute cupcake print, and on the back is just plain. There's nothing written on the back, and this is what the palette looks like. Actually, the palette feels sturdy and it doesn't feel cheap, which is nice. And here you can see an embossed cookie print, which is cute. From the official store, it says it comes in 3 different texture, which is matte, glitter and shimmer. But from what I can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 different finishes. The blusher looks like there's some glitter, but there's not many. I'm not sure it is from the glittery eyeshadow or it's from the blusher itself. And there's a sequin shade, which is the center. It's a matte shade but with glitter scattered in the formula. And also lastly, I think it's a new formula. It's like a party formula. If you have tried the Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadow, the texture feels the same on this one. So yeah, I think this is the new formula. They don't state it anywhere from the description, but I just assume this is a new formula. Okay, here are the swatches. Actually, my hand is darker than my face, so some of the shades blend with my skin tone and you can't really see it. So I did swatch it by rows so that it is easy for you to differentiate the shades. So firstly, from the first row, this is the matte bone shade, and this is the face highlighter shade. Moving to the second row, this is the light gray matte shade, and this is the sequin shade where there's glitter in the formula. And this is the deepest shade, which is kind of like a brownish gray tone shade. And this here is actually the blusher. The blusher is hardly pressed, so it is hard for me to swatch it. Because it is hardly pressed, when you dip your brush in the palette, you don't get any fallout. So the last shade is the topper shade, which is, I said, the ones that are similar to the Colourpop Super Shock shadow. Okay, now let's move on to the tutorial first, and then at the end I will share with you guys my final review. Okay guys, I did put a light layer of concealer on my eyes to use it as an eye primer, and from this palette you can see that it's a cool tone palette. There's no warmth in it at all. I did swatch these glittery shades and it's actually the same glitter as the ones that in the matte shade, so I'm gonna use the glitter shade as a topper. Without further ado, let's start with the tutorial. First of all, I'm just gonna set my eyelid lightly with this cream shade here with the cookie emboss just to test out the formula. Usually I don't do this. I don't set my eyes to see whether this cream has color in it. I'm just gonna set mainly on my crease, so there's no color. It's basically a cream shade. You can use this type of shade to blend out or to diffuse out, or to even tone down a deeper shade if you accidentally put a lot of deep shades. So you can just take this cream shade and blend it out. And then I'm taking a dense brush but still is fluffy. This is the Zoeva Luxe Eye Blender 225. I'm gonna take the shade, this grayish shade, and then apply it on the outer portion and the inner portion of my mobile lid. Okay, I'm going to try to keep building this shade to see how intense can it go. I'm also bringing this shade right on my crease. I'm leaving the center bare because I want to put the sequin shades and also top it off with the topper shade. I kind of want to make a cat eye eyeshadow with this. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the deepest shade from the palette, this muddy grayish brown shade. With a more dense brush, I'm using the NYX number 13 brush. This palette does have kickbacks. Okay, just to note, they have kickbacks for the mattes. And I'm gonna pack this shade on the outer parts and inner parts. I will not bring this shade on the center, just focusing it on the outer parts or the outer corner. And then I'm going to take the previous shade, this one, diffuse this shade with the deepest grayish shade. With this type of tones, it is easily to achieve a muddy eye look. It really is a try and error with this type of tones. Like I said, if you think that you go overboard with your eyeshadow or you want to diffuse the eye look like what I did here, as you can see this part here looks a bit muddy, I'm gonna take the cream shade, the ones that have the cookie emboss. I'm gonna go over that part and diffuse it to reduce the muddiness. Okay, now I'm gonna do a cut crease on the center and then apply the sequin shades. And then I'm gonna just use my finger to blend out this part here. With a dense flat brush, this is a BH Cosmetics number 103. I'm picking up the sequin shade, the one that has glitter. The glitter looks like bluish with silver. Taking the topper shade and then apply it on top of the center shade. I'm gonna keep this eye up to speed and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, this is the mobile lid done, and now we're gonna finish up the bottom lid, and then next we'll move on to the face makeup. For the bottom lid, I'm first gonna take the deepest shade here and then stamping it on the outer corner and also inner corner. I'm basically copying what I did on the mobile lid. I'm also connecting this shade on the upper part. I'm just stamping this shade to avoid fallout because I did do my base makeup. And then to diffuse that, I'm taking the light gray shade, blending it across the lower lash line. I'm actually leaving the center bare because I want to put the glittery shade, the topper shade on the center. So I'm focusing this on the outer corner and also inner corner to diffuse the first dark shade. Okay, this is what we're having so far, and then I'm taking a dense pencil brush like this, and then I'm going to pick up the topper shade here and then placing it on the center. As you can see, the bottom lid is basically a mirror to the mobile lid. And then finally for the eye makeup, I'm gonna take the highlighter shade from the palette, and I'm gonna just highlight my inner corner and also my brow bone. Okay guys, I did apply mascara and this is the final eye look. Okay, since this palette doesn't come with a bronzer, I did do my bronzer beforehand. All the products that I used for my makeup today, if I didn't mention to you guys, you can just click in my description box. I always link it or list it in the description box. If I forgot to list or link it, you guys can just comment where's your product list, where's the links. Sometimes I forgot to do that because some of my videos are pre-recorded, so they are scheduled to be posted and I forgot to update them. So I really appreciate if you guys can remind me. So yeah, let's move on to the review. Firstly, I'm going to apply this blusher here. This looks like a pretty shade. It's a dusty pink shade. It suits with the cool tone eye makeup. So let's test out the pigmentation and the blendability. Okay, from first impression, I can tell that this blusher is not as pigmented as my favorite Focallure monochromatic blush duo. So that's nice for a heavy-handed person like me. So there's the shade. I hope you can see that. I think if you have a lighter skin tone than me, this shade will show up on your skin, but even on me, a medium skin tone, I can still see the shade. It is not too overwhelming. You can build it up. It's like a muted pink shade. Next, let's apply the highlighter here, up here. I'm using a fluffy highlighter brush. Okay, that's the shade. It's pretty. It's not a smooth highlighter. It's a texture enhancing highlighter, but hopefully you can easily balm that by spraying the face with the setting spray, because usually that technique or that tip works for me. As you can see, it emphasizes my texture and my lines, but hopefully by melting the highlighter with the setting spray will balm that. So now I'm going to apply the highlighter on my nose as per usual, and also on my cupid's bow. Okay guys, let's do a quick review on this palette. Blendability wise, it's great. I don't experience any patchiness, and everything, all the shades blends nicely on the skin. And it is really nice to have a bone shade in here, which is this cookie print here, because this is a cool tone palette. Cool tone palette tends to be patchy and muddy on the eyes, so if you see that happens to you, you can just take this bone shade and diffuse the shade so that there's no muddiness or patchiness on your lid. And also, the only thing that I dislike from this palette is the highlighter, because it is not a smooth highlighter. It emphasizes my texture, it emphasizes my bumps and also my lines on my cheek. Even after I spray it with the setting spray, it melts, but it doesn't feel in my lines. Yeah, and also the blusher is hardly pressed. Even I layer them many times, there's barely any color. And maybe because I have a medium skin tone, if you have a lighter skin tone than me, maybe this blusher shade will show up on your skin. The other shades, the gray shades and the dark shade blends nicely. I don't experience difficulties when I did my tutorial. And the sequin shades, I used a brush to pick it up, and the glitter still sticks onto my lid, which is nice, because some sequin shades, after you apply it with your finger or with a brush, the glitter kind of got lost and there's only left with matte shades, and that is not the case for this sequin shade. And the putty shade, or the new formula shade, is my favorite from the palette. It is actually complementary to the sequin shades. It amps up the sequin shades. That is what I did. I use this as a eyeshadow topper. It's a putty formula, meaning that when you push your finger onto the product, it holds the shape, and it kind of has like almost a wet feeling to it. And I did use this shade using a brush and also my finger, and it works both ways. It sticks onto the brush as well. It's a multi-glitter formula. There's blue, there's rose gold, there's silver. With this formula, you tend to have less fallout. Compared to the sequin shades, you may get some fallout on your face. That is inevitable with glittery shades or shades that contains glitter in general. Overall, I like this palette. I would give it 8 out of 10. The only thing that I dislike is this highlighter because it emphasizes my texture. The other products or the other shades in here I like and I enjoyed using them. Hopefully my tutorial and my review helps you guys to have a general idea on this palette. I can't comment on the other palettes because I haven't tried it. Maybe in future I'll try to pick it up and maybe do another video on that. This palette retails for Rm 13 and 80 cents, but you can get it when they are having a sale. That's it for today's video. If you find today's video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe because I do a lot of makeup tutorial, makeup review, lip swatches and hauls. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and thank you so much for 1K subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope I see you guys in my next one. Bye. Assalamualaikum.